Well, hi everybody, it's Hubby here with Just About Anything Garage. I want to welcome you to another video. We're back over on to Big Bertha here, right? We've been doing a maintenance series on her, and we've got the shackle. I just released a real quick update on that. We got the oil seal, so we've got to drive that around, make sure it's still sealed, but it still looks good. Now, our next thing that we got to do is we've got to go and address the cylinders that are under here. Let's go underneath her for a minute and sit down, maybe crisscross applesauce, as my wife would say, with the kids for the child care, and turn on a light for you. Sorry for my hand. And right up here we've got these cylinders, right? They connect to the bed to push and pull the bed up, and then they connect over on this end right up here to the chassis part. We got to take the hoses off, drain the cylinders out the best that we can, and then pull the pins and see how we can slide these cylinders off, because these cylinders need to be rebuilt. They're leaking like crazy. That's what these two spots right here, these two wet spots are that we've been soaking up, and they're still dripping. So the seals need to be redone, and we've got a service place right around here in Agawam. We're just going to go ahead there and do that there, because we don't want to go ahead and do it because it's going to be a nasty job, and I haven't ever done it before. So we'll let the professionals handle that one, and we'll get that back on there. In the meantime, we're still working over on Laverne, the C30, so you'll be seeing that coming out soon. But this is the start of getting that done, so we'll bring you over and we'll show you how we're going to do that. We'll figure it out together. We'll figure out how they come off. Now, the pins coming off is pretty easy, pretty direct. It looks like they got cotter pins in here. You look right there. You got a cotter pin that pulls the pin, and we can knock the pins out towards the center on both of these. And the same with the back ones that are attached to the body for a fixed point to do that. And then it's just a matter of figuring out how they come out. Are we going to have to put some hydraulics between it and lift it and separate it a little bit so that we can get in there, or are they designed such that they'll just slip out of their bracketing and we'll be able to do it easy? I'm sure it won't be easy. It never is. So we'll be looking at how we need to do that. But this is the initial video for that, to get you guys warmed up as I crawl out from underneath that thing and don't bang my head. And we'll just go from there and get everything done. All right, so you guys hang on. We'll get set up. We'll set you up and see if we can't figure out how we do this and take you along for the ride and get some cylinders out of there. So hang tight. Okay, we're sitting under Big Bertha here, and we're scoping out the situation. How do we get these out? And you can see why we need to get them out, because here are the two new leak spots that these had. We had cleaned it up with kitty litter to absorb it, and got it all cleaned up, and you can see fresh new wet spots, so they're dripping like crazy. But we've been doing a couple things here. Is one, if you look under here, this is where it attaches to the bed, where it slides to the bed. And it's just got pins. We'll have to pull those and pull the cotter pins, and then pull these pins out, right? And then we'll be able to disconnect it from the bed. I've been spraying each end and the fittings here with some super clean to, let me reach the super clean, to, get the thing, get some gunk and goo off and all that type of stuff here. And up at the other end too, I can't show you because I gotta lay down to do it, but there's stuff up there too. The other thing is we need to figure out how to slide them out, because if you look, if I can get the camera up in here, is my light on? Nope, it looks like the light died. I think it's just about uncharged. But you can see it now is those cylinders here, you can see them right here, go through a bracketing piece that holds it. Now the bracketing's notched, so obviously if you look at it, you can see there's notches on the side for the pin holders, and there's a notch on the bottom for the fittings, but you can also turn it. So what we're gonna have to do, I think, because if we come down here and we look at the bottom piece there, you can see it's connected up there. That's got a a keeper in the middle. We're gonna have to take that keeper off, push the pins out, but we're gonna have to tilt it a little bit so we can slide it down, because we got that bar in the way. So we got to get below the bar and then pull them out that way to do that, because there's no way you can lift this bed up to do it. It won't, because of the way it's built. It's on slides. Let me get my foot unhooked here. If you look, this is the slide cage here. This is the bed. This is the bed frame rail right there. But then there's a slide cage. Look at it right there. In there. See if I can get the camera in there good. You look at, that's the slide. These channels slide on that when the hydraulics push it out, and then the lift arms cause it to raise in the back and lift up. So what we're going to have to do, I think, is disconnect these, disconnect the other side, and of course get these fittings off for the hydraulic. Drain the hydraulics. It's going to be a messy job. No way around that. Pop these pins out here. Pop the pins out at the bottom down there. And then we're going to see if we can get some tilt on it. Push it back. Turn this so the fitting gets through, and then turn that so it'll slide through, because as you can see on either side of the cylinder, it's cut out to do that. So obviously that's what it's made to do. But we're going to need to tilt it a little bit, because we got to get below. I mean, this will pull straight this way, but the problem is that one, because it runs into a fixed piece that's attached to the back of the slide rail, because it pushes off of the slide rail to push that out. So, and it's welded to it, so you can't like disconnect the member and let the member drop. We're gonna have to tilt the cylinders when we do that. So that's where we're at. We're gonna keep hitting it with goo to get it all cleaned up, so we can get those pins out, because that'll be the first challenge. Well, actually, the first challenge will be draining the hydraulic fluid. That ought to be fun. And then getting those pins out, and then we'll see what we need to do, and we'll just keep doing things until we get it out. All right, so let me go finish soaking some stuff, and we'll be right back with some more action. Okay, we're back underneath Big Bertha, and we've been spraying everything to get it clean. We're going to hit it with a brush, but we run into an issue here. Up here, you can see there is a little metal bar that keeps it. It's a pin keeper, right? Stops those pins from sliding out. Okay, now the problem is that thing's welded onto the bracket. It's not bolted or screwed on. It's welded on. So when they put this together, they did not make it for these cylinders really to be removed, because you can't take it out the end, because you'd have to go through the slider bracket, and then the sliders themselves. And I know for dang shake that ain't gonna happen. So we kind of got an issue here. We got to figure out how we're going to do this, or if we actually might have to switch over to just dropping these off of this end here, right, and rebuilding them in place. And that might be how they decided they were going to do that. You pull the plungers and rebuild and insert the plungers back in. Certainly be less of a pain in the ass in terms of having to get everything out, but I'm betting you it ain't easy. So we're going to have to do a little bit more research on that and see what the story is there. But it apparently has not been made, when you look at this end, for that bracket to come off up there and allow us to take the cylinders totally out. So I guess we're going to see what we can do here, right? And figure out where we're going from there. But I thought I'd just update you guys quick. See how we've been cleaning and spraying, and kind of came off that. I kind of made the assumption that it would be bolted on. You'd be able to move it and then push the pins out, and you could drop those right out and take them out. But that might not be the case. So we may either have to rebuild them in case, or decide just to let them leak and live with it. We'll see. We'll look a little further. All right, so hang tight while I do a little research, and we'll be back. Okay, so after much research, looking around and finding out about the rollback here for Big Bertha, the cylinders are serviced on the machine. There is no way they weren't designed to get off. You could, of course, get it off. You could cut the bracket. You could pop the pieces. But then you got to jump through a whole bunch of hoops in order to get the body out of the way, the rollback body that's above it out of the way, in order to drop the cylinders and get them totally out. So they weren't really made to be serviced that way. They were made to be serviced on it, where you can get the things out and build it. We're not doing that. It's a big mess. It's not leaking that bad. I mean, here's the leak. You can see it on the floor, drip, 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 and it does. Let's put it this way. It's a lot more convenient, easy from a cost and fill-up perspective to put more hydraulic in it to make sure that it continues to work than it is to pull those apart and resurface them and pack them myself. So we're going to go ahead and skip that one right now. If it gets, you know, progressively worse, then we might be forced to go do it. But as long as it's not and it operates well, we're just going to live with the fact that they're leaking a little bit. And we're going to move on to the engine bay, get the engine all serviced. All right, we're back at it with Big Bertha, and as you know, we're not going to touch the hydraulics on it. We're going to let them run for a while, and if they get really bad, we'll go ahead and change them out because they're going to be a pain in the butt to do. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to finish the rest of the work, and we're moving up, and we're going to do a tune-up on the engine. Okay, so here we got some stuff. They finally come in. Can you believe I had to actually order stuff from Napa because they didn't have everything? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to change the oil. I like to use 15W40 in the older engines, the Rotella. It's got a good amount of zinc in it, and we got STP oil treatment, so we'll add more zinc, so we'll protect that can. We're going to swap out for some NGKs, wire set. We're going to put new plugs in it. We got a fuel filter, we got an oil filter, and we went and we ordered a Ford HEI. It's currently got a points-based unit. I could use Pentronics up there, right, and save the cost on that. But Pentronics is, you know, that wasn't really expensive. What was $115 for that distributor? Where Pentronics is going to get close to that anyways. But what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and we'll get that distributor in, and we'll swap out the wires and we'll swap out the plugs. We're going to leave the Edelbrock on it for now, but what we'll do is once we've got everything switched out, we're going to go through a setup tuning cycle. We'll go through, we'll put the vacuum gauge on it, make sure we got maximum vacuum on it. We'll adjust the idle mixture screws and all that type of stuff, make sure it runs well. We are going to probably switch this over to fuel injection. I believe I'm going to use the FinTech. It's at Summit. It's the cheapest of everything, but it got really good reviews. So we're going to go and do that. I like Ace's Kill Shot, which will probably go on the other stuff that I do. But for this, we're going to use the FinTech to try it out. The Kill Shot's a little bit more expensive, and I think it's a bit overkill on that. But we want rock solid performance when I jump in it, regardless of what, you know, winter months, summer months, spring months. Summer months, it just fires right up and it runs really, really well for us. So that's what we're going to do. So let me go ahead and get tools. Let me get oil stuff. We'll go ahead and we'll change that oil. We'll change the filters. We'll get that motor fired, changed over, and then we'll get it fired up and go and do a tune cycle on it, and we'll see where we're at. All right? So you guys sit tight, and we'll be right back in just a minute. All right, so we're underneath doing the oil change, and of course, whenever doing an oil change, it's a bitch session for me because when people do things, they do two things. The plug that goes in here, the plug that, they either put it at 100 freaking foot-pounds, which it doesn't need to be, or the oil filter, they put it 2.5 turns past tight. You need a quarter turn. In this case, it was the filter. Oh my God, they had that thing twisted on. The plug came out fairly easy, but the other bitch point is, this is where the oil hit when it first came out. This is where it ended up, and this is where it ended up. Because, no, they put the oil drain right on the frickin' cross member beam here, and it runs the length of it and pours out where the pan isn't. So now I got a giant mess. But anyways, we're getting it done. Filter's off. We're about to put the filter on. That's drained. We're going to plug it up. And then we're going to do the one that's, you can see it right there. That's the fuel filter. We're just going to unscrew it now. I know that one I'll do because I had to do a little bit of maintenance on her. It started leaking. So that one will come out easy because I did that one right. Anyways, so that's where that is. And we'll meet you upstairs when we go to do the upstairs stuff. All right? So we'll be right back. All right. So we got all the oil in. We got the fuel filter on. We got the oil filter on. We filled it back up. It's full. Let's go ahead and see if she'll start. We haven't done the distributor yet or the plugs or anything. But let's see if we get some. Where's my oil pressure? Right there. Let's see if we can get her to start. Okay, we're probably going to have to do a little gas priming with her. because she's been sitting for a while. Let's slip out of the cab and go grab the gas primer. Put a little bit down her throat. Got a brand new filter in her, so you know she's got to pump through that and get pressure up and all that type of stuff. And we could quite possibly run that battery down before she decides to pop off. So I don't have my remote starter with me right now, so hopefully this will get her to go. Let's see if she'll pop off on us. You're walking sideways because, you know, that's how I'm holding you, sideways. All right, step back up. Come back up here over the top. Let's pour a little gas down the gullet here. See if she'll decide to pop off on us. It's gonna be a process. All right, back into the cab. May have to go break out the remote starter. We'll see. Here we go. Just the clutch just in case. Okay. Let's push the choke in some. Okay. Just choke it a little. Okay. Well, obviously we're gonna have to get the remote starter out. So let me go dig the remote starter out and hook that up. See if we can't get her to pop off by dumping active gas or something down there. All right, so hang on, we'll be right back. Okay, so she popped a couple times for me. Let's pull her choke out a little bit and see if she'll take off. Uh-oh, my switch. What the heck? There we go. Something's wrong with my ignition switch now. Really? What's going on? She won't kick over. May have put the battery down. Let's try it with the remote again. Turn that ignition on. There we go. Or maybe it's the clutch. Maybe it's got a clutch switch in it. Nope. Just check it. Let's see what's going on here. See what's going on. Okay, she started with the remote starter. She's running. Just need to get oil pressure. Have to check out that ignition switch. Something's up with that. Yep, got good oil pressure. Gonna let her warm up a little. Good vacuum. tach's working. We got to work on that tach a little bit. It's got a loose connection. Figure out what's going on with that ignition switch. We'll pull it out, make sure it's working okay, get it positioned right. Part of our process. She's running a little rough, but that's probably because she's cool. We got high oil pressure. Maybe too much. Let it warm up, it should come down a little bit. Skipping a little, you can hear it. Pull the throttle up a little. You can hear it running rough a little bit. Nice vacuum. Up around 1500 RPM. Look at that pressure gauge. Really high. That's because we got the thicker oil in it. As it warms up, it'll come down. Hopefully we won't blow a bypass. I believe this temperature gauge works, so we'll wait. Lights work. High beams seem to work. Of course, when we go through and we switch the distributor, we'll retime everything. We'll go do the adjustments on the carburetor, get that all set up so she runs really good with the Edelbrock. And then when we get the FinTech, we'll put it on there, and this thing should be like, touch the key and she fires off, which is what we're after here. Cold, warm, doesn't matter. We want her to fire right up and run really well. You know, it's got a 1970 360 in it. As you can see, the oil pressure is fine on it with the thicker oil pressure. Looks like it's charging. Well, probably not because the battery charger's on it. I believe the fuel gauge works. We'll put more fuel in it to satisfy that. See, it's running a little rough. So we'll see if we can't smooth that out. Pull RPM up a little. You can tell it's skipping. Now we're going to change all the plugs in the wires, so hopefully that'll take care of that with the new distributor. But the oil change is successful. The fuel filter change appears to be successful. Go look for leaks. Ow. I'm not seeing any dripping oil or any dripping gas, so that's good, although we got a big oil mess under here. Running fine. All right. Step one, oil and fuel filters and oil changes are done. We're going to go ahead here and let's move to the top side, and we'll get the distributor put in first so we don't disturb the timing aspect of it. figure out where it is. We'll pop the cap off, mark where the rotor is on the block. We'll put it back in there to be the same thing, and then we'll pull the wires off one by one, replace wire and plug at the same time, and get it over to the new one and see what that does for it. All right, so you guys hang on, and we'll be right back with that. Okay, so here's what we did. We pulled off the coil and the coil bracket from here. We pulled off the cap from the distributor, moved it out of the way so that we can see where the rotor is pointing to. And we're going to leave the wires connected for now. And we marked where the rotor's pointing at, right here with this gold mark, right there. So that when we put the HEI distributor in, which of course I didn't bring with me, so I'll have to go get, we can line the rotor up, maintain our timing, and we should be good to go. All we got to do is then switch the wires into plugs like we want to do those one at a time so that we don't mix anything up, and be ready to go. So let's see if we can get this to come up and out. Yeah, look at that piece of cake. Come on, come on. Getting stuck on something. I'm not sure what it's getting stuck on. It'll pop out of there though once we line it up. All right, so let me see if I can't maneuver that out. For whatever reason, it's getting hung up on something underneath there. I hope we don't have to pull anything off to get the gear out of there. That would suck. Anyways, let me work on that, and we'll be right back, and we'll get that other one in. Okay, so just as I thought, nothing special. Don't have to worry about a bolt or anything like that that may have gotten in the way. It just took some finessing to get it out of there, right? So there's the old distributor. Had to move it around. We got the new one in. We got the HEI in. Got the cap off. And we're engaged with the cam gear. You can rotate it, anything, and it's about to line up where it is. Now, the problem is it's got a hex shaft on it to line it up with the oil pump, right? No matter amount of wiggling, isn't going to line that sucker. So I saw a little trick online. We're going to see if it works. This is engaged with the cam gear. So if I bump it now, it'll turn the shaft, the cam will turn that. It should stay aligned, and we should be able to get it to drop into that pump while maintaining our timing. And if I don't, well, that just means we get it to drop, and then I go and I find top dead center and on cylinder 1, and we do it that way. But let's go ahead and give it a try and see if, I'm going to put you guys down here with that up like that. Hopefully you won't fall off. Got my bumper here, and I'm going to give this a little pressure. Just bump it a little bit. There we go. Should drop when that lines up with the should line it up with the oil pump, right? That's what it should be doing. Hasn't dropped yet though. Whoa, almost dropped you guys though. All right, so that's the idea. It dropped a little bit, engaged a little bit more. Obviously we're on the cam gear because it's rotating the rotor. So we shouldn't have lost our timing. I'll keep bumping it a little bit and putting a little pressure on it, and we'll see if we can't get it to drop, and I'll come back to you guys so I don't drop you down into the engine bay. All right, so hang tight. We'll see what the result. Yep, I can confirm that worked. It did indeed work. I just put my hand on the right in this area, pressed, wiggled a little bit, pressed, bumped it, the cap turned, the rotor turned, and it bumped right down and seated onto that. Now, of course, the proof in the pudding will be, do we have oil pressure when we go to do it, and when we go to fire it up, and will it fire up. So let me go get that done. Next step is those plugs, and getting them on in the right way. So we'll go ahead and we'll get ready to change the plugs and the wires and put them on and see where we're at. So just a little update that yes, that indeed works. Once you've engaged that cam, you can move it around and get it to drop onto that oil pump shaft. So, and I bet you it works with Chevys as well. So we'll be back in just a minute. All right, so the HEI is in, as you can see, We've got wires hooked to it. Now what I did was, I buy these by like the 10s out of Amazon, and it's just a 30 amp relay with a socket. And what I did here is I've got this hooked up such that the ignition wire here, which one is it? This little red one right here, is plugged in, comes over to here, activates the coil. The coil will close. It'll put 12 volts over onto the HEI power pin, and then of course I've got the tack pin, tack wire that's right there hooked over into the cap. And I see the old cap laying here is because it's got the wires reference, and I started to pull them, but we're gonna have to, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go one by one here is what we're gonna do, and swap the wires and the plugs, because these, you know, the wires are different between the caps. So all I can do is reference it, and I don't want to get them all on there and have them fall off. So we'll go ahead and we'll start pulling them one by one. Put the new plugs in. They're all pre-gapped. The 40,000s. We'll put the new wires on, and then we should be able to fire it up and make sure the timing's set. Go ahead and tune up that carburetor by going ahead and setting the idle mixture screws and all that type of stuff. So that's where we're at. Pretty easy, and we'll be back with the next step. Okay, here's some very ugly plugs that just came out of Big Bertha. I don't know if you can see that real, but look at how dirty those are. All of them are like, every single one. They're dirty, 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 bad. I don't even know how, and look at that one, it's a little, got some oil on it. I don't know if this thing's blowing oil. It's not smoking or anything when you run it, so I think it's just, it's super rich. We're gonna have to work, like we said, on that carburetor. Let's go up and take a look at what we did. Okay, so we got new distributor in. Got the plug wires on, we got it all numbered, we got it laid out. That's a pain in the butt job. Not as bad as Ghost, the 77 Corvette. If you've ever had a C3, you understand what I'm talking about. I'm trying to change plugs on that, but the problem with these is they're angled. These, the front two angle back, the back two angle forward, so it's a little awkward trying to get the plug back in so it'll thread correctly. So crazy nutsoid. Crazy. Anyways, it's done. It's in. We're going to just make sure we got fuel and everything set up here, and we'll go and we'll try and fire her up, and we'll bring you along for the fire up. So just hang on tight, and we'll hop in the cab and we'll fire her up. Just give me a minute to get everything set up. We'll be right back. Okay, so as you can tell, it's running. I'm wondering if you got an exhaust leak though. But I got a problem. It's not off of the relay we put in to bring voltage. It's directly off the ignition. So obviously the ignition is running a full 12 volts, because HEIs typically don't like it lower. So let's check our timing a little bit. Nope. Way advanced. Okay, it likes it about there. We're gonna go do a full timing and everything with this. But yes, he does run. I need to check to see what's up with the relay, so I'd rather run it directly off a battery than the ignition, just in case. So we'll check that, report back. But our method worked. It's in. All the wires are in. It's not running too bad. We need to check oil pressure though. The one thing we haven't checked on yet to make sure that we're fully engaged with that oil pump. So let's go do that. Oh, poked myself in the back. Make sure that we're, sorry, I'm showing it everywhere but where we need to be. Do we have oil pressure? I don't have any oil pressure. So let's turn this off. We may not be engaged on that oil. All right, so we'll loosen it up, we'll jiggle it around, we'll bump it. We'll see if we can't get it to drop and seat on that, and then restrike. But everything else is good. We're just not seeing any oil pressure. So we'll go ahead and take care of that issue. Make sure that we are engaged. Obviously we're not. It's spinning above it. But we'll loosen it up, we'll drive it down and make sure we're pumping oil through that thing. It had very high pressure before, so I'm sure everything is fine. So we'll go from there. Okay, let me check it out again and we'll be right back. All right, so if you recall where we're at here, and let me see if I can get you guys set up to look without falling off, is we're not engaged with the oil pump. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull this out. We've got the cap off so we can see the rotor. We're going to bump it around to align with our white mark that's sitting down there and make sure that we maintain our timing on it. And then we're going to pull it out and see if we can't put it back in and get it to bump down, because I've been bumping this and it's not cooperating. It won't drop anymore into the thing, and I want to check the bottom of it anyway. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's bump it, bump it, bump it. There we go. We're pointing right where we want to be. So let's go ahead and pull. I'm going to move you guys and reposition you here. And I'm going to pull the retainer bolt out right here. We still have, oh, you know what we need to do? I need to disconnect 2 more lines because I'm not going to be able to lift that sucker out of there because we're connected electrically to it. So we're going to pull the tack line right here. Oh, that tack line wasn't on very tight. Look at that. Pulled that right out of there. Okay, we got to do a little repair there. That was stupid of me, pulling that out like that. But anyways, no problem. We can handle it. And I'm probably blocking you guys, aren't I? Then we got to pull this bottom one off here. To do that, I need the screwdriver so that I can loosen that side up. And then get over here like this and loosen this side up, although I can't see it. There we go. And get the connection to that out. There we go. Then we can move that a little bit further back out of the way like that. Okay. Now, we've got the clamp off. Everything's disconnected. Let's see if we can get this sucker to come out now that it's been rotated a couple times in there. There it comes, right up and out. Okay, let's take a look. Let's pull the vacuum line off. Maybe we'll pull the vacuum line off. Let's pull the vacuum line off from the carburetor base then. Oh, it doesn't want to do that either because it's a really tight line. Okay, well, in that case, we're going to look at the bottom of this. Make sure we haven't damaged it, which we haven't. See, it's hexed. We're good. Okay, and it's got some oil on it too, so we know that it has been getting good oil. Let's take a look down the hole. There's oil there. See if we can't get it to drop onto the... I want a little bit, look a little further back on it and see if I can't get a better view here of where we're connecting. Wow, that drops way down. How does that connect, really? I'm gonna bump it, but wow. Not sure. It's hard to tell. Let me fling the leg over. There's the cam gear. Where's the oil pump engagement shaft? Way down there. It doesn't look like that could. No, that should reach it. Can it reach it? Yeah, that's a good question. What's going on? Okay. I need a better look, guys. Because there's the gear. I don't know what's going on here. It's hard to tell. Because there's the cam gear right there. And then right below it is where it should engage. And I can't tell because there should be a shaft. And I am not seeing a shaft. Did we lose a shaft? Was there so got a pin it inserts or what? Because I am not seeing a shaft that engages on to the oil pump. If that's the oil pump's way down there. This thing is like missing it. Let's look in the bottom of this old distributor and see if we're missing something. Something ain't right. Let me grab it. Okay. So let's change our light over. Okay. Here's the old distributor. It looks just identical to the other one. Let's compare them side by side for a minute, huh? Look at this. Line these up like this. Yeah, see those when it lines? Those are identical. Okay, so I'm not understanding here what is going on in terms of engagement with that. I don't think you guys can see down there. Okay, so here's the hole, right? We got no oil pressure when we put the new one in. When we had the old one in, after we changed the oil, we had plenty of oil pressure. So, question is, what the heck's going on? Is there supposed to be a rod that reaches all the way down there and we disturbed it and dropped it? It shouldn't. I would think it can't be that dumb, right? And put it in here like this. Here's where it engages. This is where it sits into that little bar. All right, let's break out the little cam. And let's get a better look. So I don't waste batteries here. Hang on a second. I'll be right back. We're going to get the camera out. Okay, so I'm head scratching here. Let me show you why, okay? Hopefully I can get this for you. Anyways, this is I got the camera. I don't know if you can see it very well. Probably not because the frame rates are different. But I'm staring at the hole that the engagement for the oil pump goes down. Now, you would think that if you go into that hole, right? Let's line it up. Sorry, I'm going to fling you guys around because you're in that hand. We go down that hole. There it is, right there. There it is. Where is it? That's off to the side. Where am I staring at? Let's turn it around a couple times. There's the engagement pin, right there. Okay. It looks like it's flopped to the side or something. Because it's definitely, that's not down the hole, I'm down the side of the, if you look down here, you can see where that is. It's going down the side, not the hole of that. All right. So I am not entirely sure what's going on here. I may have to see if I can't maneuver that pin so it'll line up. Looks like it may have went to the side or something. All right, let me go away again and see if I can't figure out what's going on here. We'll be back. Okay, so after looking about, reading about, researching about, here's the situation. Apparently, because I get bit by not doing my research, which I harp on all the time to do, and because I made the assumption that because I've done, I don't know what, 100 Chevy-based motors, I haven't touched really Fords, but I've done Oldsmobiles and Pontiacs and small block and big block Chevys, rebuilt many of those. I knew what I was doing. Well, apparently, the shaft, the square shaft, has a habit of when you're pulling distributors out of Fords of pulling up with it and falling over or dropping into the pan, which guess what? That's exactly the situation we have here. It has, I was able to see it using the bore scope, and I can see it laying there. It's not in a pan, but it is laying down in the cavity there. So I think I might have enough room to be able to get a gripper tool down there on the side. If you look on the side there, it looks wide enough to do that. I might be able to grab it, and if I can grab it and pull it up, we might be able to save this. If not, any of you Ford guys got any ideas, I'm going to do you'll see it come out before this, obviously, a project service announcement, which is really project save my ass announcement. Seeing if any of you Ford guys get any tips on pulling it out. Like, can you pull it out through the timing cover? The timing cover is right up in front of it. Is there an access hole we can get it? Do we need to drop the pan and try and fish it out that way? Whatever the case is. But that's where we're at, guys. So let me go see if I can get this stupid thing out of there and come back and let you know if I could or if I couldn't, and what I did if I did. So hang tight, and we will be back, I am sure. Alright, so we're going to find out here if we changed anything. Thanks to advice from Irish Outlaw Garage Jay over there and Beano Rat Rods, who've done Fords before. They gave me a couple of ideas on how to maybe get that rod up and out. And basically what they said was go get the magnetic pickups, the extendable ones. Being a pain, come here. Like this one here. It's an extendable magnetic pickup. And see if you can't fish it out and up. And I was able to do that. It likes to stick to the sides because it's all metal, right? But I was able to get down and get it up and get it arranged so it's over the hole for the pump. At least I think it's over the hole for the pump. Anyways, it was straight up aligned in there. Looked like I could get the bottom of the shaft of the distributor onto the pump rod. Now, it's still up a little bit, but I don't know if it'll go down anymore. How close they had machined everything to totally drop in. I mean, it's down. The gear's engaged. The timing's there. Everything's together. So I'm going to put it on, see if it'll fire. We'll check oil pressure again. See if we got any oil pressure. If not, keep doing it. Pulling it out, putting it back in. Pulling it out, putting it back in until we get this sucker right. So that's where we're at. Let me put it together the rest of the way. And we'll jump into the cab together, and we'll see if we can't get this thing to go ahead and pump some oil while it's firing up. All right, so we'll be back in just a little bit. All right, victory. It's running, and it has oil pressure. Woohoo! Okay, I likes it about there. I got a little knock here. It's like a bearing or something. It's not internal to the motor. So we're running. She's running pretty good. And like I said, and I'll go show you guys, we did it. Got that pump shaft back in. All right. Take a look. right there. That's the, oh, let's get some light on. Right. That's the oil pressure, high. Going right along. Charging. I don't know if the temperature gauge works. We may have to replace that, but that'll be part of the assessment here. So, pull the throttle up a little. All right. Tach's working. Nice and firm. Good oil pressure, good charging. I think the fuel tank indicator works too, so put more gas in there. We'll see. We got good vacuum. Very cool. She's running really well. Now we're going to go through our tune cycle. That'll be next. We'll go ahead and set up the tuning, get the vacuum meter out, put it on. We'll set the idle jets, make sure we got the right mixture going in there, get this thing running like a top, and then somewhere down the line we are going to change it up to the FinTech fuel injection, just so it's super crisp and super good. But it's running pretty well, and we have oil pressure back. I'm really happy with that. All right, thank you, Jay. Thank you, Vino Rat Rods, and Irish Outlaw Garage for their input. They were instrumental in helping me to get that back in line. So thanks a lot, guys. Anyways, that's where we're at. We'll be back with the tune-up, and then after the tune-up, I'm gonna end this video at that, and then we'll come back around with the next set of things that we're gonna do, which is to basically get the chassis, all the lights, horns. Probably gonna put an air compressor on it so we can keep that tank full so you don't have to run it. Make some changes on that, like putting an air hose so you can blow up tires and that type of things, and then we'll start to do a little body input. So we'll have this thing back ready, rocking and rolling and used pretty soon. So hang tight and we'll be right back with the tune-up portion. We'll just get this thing rocking and rolling really good. All right, hang tight. All right, so we've gone through this run of tune-up cycle. You guys see this 100 times, all right? We go in, we set the timing. Now I can't find a mark, so I set it by ear. The way that we did that is I went and I set the idle at about 850 to 900. It's sitting, I don't know if you can see that on that, but it's about 880, 870, 850 on that. And we set the timing to tweak the RPM. Once we found the sweet spot for that, we tighten that down, readjust it, and bring it down just a tad to get it in where we want it to. Then we started playing the idle mixture screw. Turn them all the way in, and then pull them out 1.5 turns, put the vacuum meter on. Of course, I can hear the idle too, and I got this tachometer here, so we adjust it for maximum vacuum on both sides, switching back and forth, readjusting the idle if we needed to. And we found the sweet spot. So this is all set now. Make sure you leave the home for the air cleaner, but not enough to worry about. So it's all warmed up, running really well. Fairly good throttle response. She'll come back down. She runs. Got it peaked at like 22 inches on the vacuum, so we're in the sweet spot. We're good to go. All right, so we're gonna wrap up this particular video. Oh, just gonna blind us first. Right here with the tune-up, pronounce the tune-up good. We originally we were gonna pull those back cylinders off, right, because they were leaking, but we found out we have to do them on the machine, so we said, okay, let's move to the next thing. We'll let them leak for a while. We'll come back to those later. So we're going to move on from here to the next things, which will be going to make sure all the lights work, all the horns work, all that type of stuff. Then we'll touch the body, okay? So we'll also grease everything. We'll go through and we'll make sure that the pump's full. We'll make sure that the what else? That the air brakes. We'll probably mount a vacuum, not a vacuum system, a compressor on it, so we can have onboard, on-demand air. It's got an air tank. I'll go show you. Top down. We'll go ahead and we'll kill this motor. getting pretty choky in here with fumes, although I got the door open. She's running real well. We'll just close it out with these few thoughts here. I gotta play with this interior tack though. It's gotta loose something because it's oh, careful. Okay. Interior wise, is, you know, just the dash pad and stuff is cracked a little bit. We gotta do that. We gotta put a headliner in. Want to play with these air horns because they're leaking and they won't blow. Make sure we have all good lights. Good interior tank. Everything's really good in here. The floor's in excellent shape, as we said before. We just got some of the body work that we need to do, you know, clean this up, take care of the cracks. We got that one hole on the other side. We've got our air tank right here. I'll show you. Crawl underneath right here. Supplies air for the air horns and different things. We're going to mount a compressor for that. Put it in here. We're going to adapt this because this is where you used to fill it. We're going to put an output on it and put a new gauge on it so that we can have a hose and we can blow up tires if we get flat tires and we're trying to load something up. We'll go through and make sure the carrier bearings and everything's greased. Make sure that the tank's full. Find any other leaking spots, we'll address them and that type of stuff. So we're on the downward slant here at this point, other than the major leaks on the back, but we'll run that for a while, like we said, until it gets really egregious, and then we'll go ahead and we'll tackle that because we got to do that on the truck, which will be a real pain in the butt. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. If you do that, all that jazz for me, I would appreciate it. And we'll pump another one out for the story of Big Bertha, as well as the other ones that we're doing. All right, so you guys have a great day. We appreciate you. Thanks a lot.